So I'm really excited to have Sister Christina join us. She is a Capuchin Sister of Nazareth out of Pennsylvania. This is a group in a convent that lived together, and they got an invite, a letter from And Then There Were None. Now, this is the organization we've had. Who runs And Then There Were None? What's her name? She's been on for a million times. She's great. And she wrote a letter to all of the convents and said, hey, you should, no, not Agatha Christie. She wrote the book. She reached out and she said, now's the time that we would like to get some of these abortion workers that, it's the holiday season. Maybe if we write them Christmas cards, et cetera, and send them out to all the abortion clinics, maybe some of them will go, you know what, now is the time to get out of the abortion industry. And so this group of nuns up in Pennsylvania started doing it, and they have been sending these letters out to these abortion clinics, not being nasty or not being basically like I have been all day today, being nice and kind. And I just thought it was such a cool story when I read about it. And Sister Christina is with us now. Hi, sister. How are you?
Hi, Glenn. I'm good.
Good. You don't happen to have radios or computers or anything, right? I mean,
we don't. We're Capuchin Franciscan, so we just live a life of simplicity.
Good. Because not that I've been misbehaving before your parents or anything like that, but I'm glad that I'm glad that you're. What is it like not to have a computer and phones and everything else? I mean, it's like it used to be normal. Now it's not at all.
Well, people, when they hear we don't have these things, they always say, "Oh, aren't you blessed?" And I was like, "Well, you could do it too." So I think we're the happiest people on this earth too. Not just because we don't have technology, but because we have the Lord.
I think I've always thought of this with the Amish too, because they don't have anything, and I think they've just decided to not live in this world. They live in it, but they don't embrace it. They don't become part of it, and I think there's something to that lifestyle that you're living that we probably should do more of. Anyway, so tell me the story of writing these letters.
Well, we were approached by the organization And Then There Were None, which was founded by Abby Johnson I believe in 2012. And so we just received a letter from them. So I'm assuming they saw it. We do have a website. So CapuchinSisters.com. So we don't have the computer, but someone will run the website for us. The best way to do it. So that's how, most young women will find out about us and things. So they wrote us a beautiful letter and just explained, I had heard of the organization, but never about, any of the ministries they were doing. But they have a ministry where they're basically just writing a Christmas card to the actual abortion clinics, so to the workers in the clinics, and just a brief message of prayer and Christmas greeting, and we can make it very personal, and just inviting them out of the life that they're living. And what we do is we include in the Christmas cards, And Then There Were None's business card, so that way they have this card in their hand where they can reach out for help through it, And Then There Were None.
I would imagine that there are very different reactions to that. Those who would be really angered by it and, make a big deal out of it that way. And then the others who have been thinking this way and just don't know what to do. Have you heard of the reactions? Do you know if this is reaping any results?
Definitely reaping results. So the first time we've been doing this for maybe 3 or 4 Christmases now. So the first time we received a letter, I think, And Then There Were None said they had 300 abortion workers leave so far, not just through the Christmas card ministry, but through all the ministry they do throughout the year. Just this last letter I received from them, they said they have over 700 workers that have left the abortion industry.
That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask how do you recruit for like your job? I mean, because I went to your website and you guys are all young. I grew up Catholic. We didn't have any young we didn't have any young nuns at the time. We had one, Sister Julie, my third grade teacher, and I had a huge crush on her. But um, you're all generally, at least on the website, very young. How does a young woman come to be a nun today?
So to find our community, most young women are looking on the internet, and that's why we decided to have a website, because that's where most young women are. So typically a young woman will see our website, and then she'll have to be brave enough to at least call. So there's no texting, because this is a landline I'm speaking to you on. So just call or write. So, which are very kind of foreign ways of communication in this day, in this day and age.
Most people don't know how to use a landline anymore. So what do you guys do?
So our main ministry is really prayer. So we're called contemplative sisters. So that would come from the word contemplation. So our main work we really consider is prayer. So we live a life of deep, deep prayer. And a lot of times, especially I think young women get the idea of like, oh, I could just never be on my knees all day praying. And that's not what it is at all. And you can see from the beautiful joy, the pictures on the website, we live a very full life, a very poor life, because we want to be poor, and we live the charism of St. Francis of Assisi, who chose to follow Christ poorly. But we live a rich life of community as well. So we're like a real sisterhood, like a real family. But our primary work we really consider is our prayer.
And when you say prayer, is it a prayer in all that you do kind of thing, or is it actually structured prayer time, or both?
Both really. So we do have definitely structured prayer time. So we rise in the middle of the night actually for a night vigil at 2 a.m. and then that'll be like the beginning of our day. And then, we make that sacrifice.
Wow, wait, that's the beginning. You go back to bed after 2?
We do.
After that prayer, or do you?
After that prayer, we go back to bed. So it's called a vigil, night vigil. So we always say we get to go to bed twice. So we kind of equate that.
I mean, I know I'd have to be a woman to join the convent, but I think that would count me out. I think it'd be like, wait, I got to get up at 2:00 every day. I want to sleep.
We like to equate.
How hard is that?
You get used to it. I mean, it definitely is a sacrifice, but we like to equate it to the vocation of a mother, and mothers and fathers who get up in the middle of the night to their crying child. Like they wouldn't think twice about it. So we are not physical mothers, but we're spiritual mothers, mothers of souls, in that we are brides of Christ. So all of his children are our children spiritually. And our children, I like to say, they're always crying. They're always crying out for prayer, for sacrifice, for God, ultimately. So we, like to equate that to our spiritual motherhood.
Sister, you don't have phones and computers and everything else, but I'm sure you're very well aware. Yeah, that's what I mean. You're not on social media. But I'm sure you're aware of the conditions that are happening in our world. What are your thoughts on where our world is headed?
Well, it's certainly a sad state, especially, considering this ministry that we're doing with And Then There Were None. One of the things we do with these cards is after we write them, we'll place them on our altar, just praying that God will get them into the right hands. Those that, are working in these industries and maybe on the verge of conversion. And I had them on our altar, and a young father came to visit our chapel. And I said, these are cards that we're sending to abortion clinics, to the workers, to invite them out of this way of life. And he said, there's that many abortion clinics? And I only had maybe 50 cards on the altar, and I said, there's thousands of clinic. And he goes, I had no idea. And just this evil Holocaust that's been going on legally in our country. So we're well aware of the evils that are going on. But I think the tides are turning. I think the pro-life movement in America is huge, Glenn. It's huge. And there's so much good work being done. But a lot of it is, much like our life, is hidden, is prayer, is hidden, is quiet, and a lot of times the truth is silent.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean it's silent.
Yeah, the Lord doesn't usually come in with a marching band.
Exactly.
He comes in on a donkey.
Yeah. Exactly. But we consider our prayer, especially, that real battleground. So a lot of people think of it as a very just sterile, inactive life. Oh, it's an active life. Like we always say, we'll never be out of a job. There's always someone to pray for, and it's a beautiful life.
I actually had a guy who actually told me to stop telling people to pray because God's very busy, and he's busy solving wars and everything else, and he doesn't have time to listen to everybody.
Oh, he's God. He's infinite. We can't limit him.
Right. Like, I don't think you understand how God works. I don't think he's like, I'm dealing with this war. What is it you want again? It's a little different than that. Sister, thank you so much. And bless you this holiday season. And thank you for just being a ray of sunshine, you and all of the sisters up at the convent and everybody that does what you do. I read this story, and it's just pure good. It's just pure good. And we don't see that very often anymore. And thank you.
Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.